Hey, I'm Deidre Detterman, host of the Do It My Way podcast, where we empower women business owners and CEOs to do business on their terms with no regrets, hesitation, or fear. I'm obsessed with all things marketing. I started my career in television, and I remember sitting in countless meetings, listening to executives talk about things that needed to change, but they never did. I was always thinking, what if we did it my way? Once I became an entrepreneur and I started living life on my terms, working the hours I want to work, making the money I want to make, I started to feel success. I was finally in control of my destiny. I hope you will join me on this journey discovering how you can do it your way. Welcome to the Do It My Way podcast. Today, we're visiting with Shea Roach. She's the co-founder of Freeform, a global marketing automation company. Shea has worked with amazing celebrities like Odell Beckham Jr., Dynasty, and ESPN, just to name a few. Her latest project is developing the 10 district in Jenks, and it's gaining massive momentum. Shea shares advice on the mindset you should have if you're looking to become an entrepreneur. You don't want to miss this interview. We are so excited to have Shea Roach on the podcast today. Shea, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, you're one of those people that I have probably had 3 or 4 people come up to me and say, you need to connect with Shea Roach. Do you know Shea Roach? Isn't
right back at you. The same for me, and I'm so glad that we are connected. Our paths have crossed so many ways, and then now personally. So.
Yes, exactly. It's been a crazy because I know I've seen you at parties and all of that, but we've never sat down and talked business.
Right.
So today's the day. I can't wait to dive in and just know all things Shea Roach.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Well, one thing I was really fascinated about with your background is you worked at a massive corporation. So PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Right.
And I actually looked them up right before this, and there's like 164,000 employees.
Isn't that crazy?
So we're talking not just large corporation.
It was a big deal. Yeah.
Massive.
Right.
You go from that to being an entrepreneur.
Right.
So walk me down that journey of working for corporate America, you know, the big, large corporation, to going out on your own.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that?
You know, I loved working for, it started as Coopers & Lybrand and then PricewaterhouseCoopers. I loved working for a big corporation, probably because of the training, Deidre. I mean, I just got so much great training and learned so much from so many great people that I worked for, that worked for me, and just all the extensive training and learning and sharing of ideas. And then to get to be an entrepreneur, I would be remiss if I didn't say my business partner is a big part of how I made that leap into being an entrepreneur. I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers for 10 years, then stayed home, had kids, and then kind of got back into the workforce.
So how long were you home with your kids?
Gosh, I was home for 12 years.
Okay.
I'm a CPA, obviously, at PricewaterhouseCoopers. So I always kept up my license and did consulting. I missed it. I always did consulting on the side. I kind of love those numbers like a good spreadsheet. So I did that always on the side, kind of kept my hand in that. And then when my kids were, in school for so much longer during the day, and we were doing after school sports and all that kind of stuff, it really opened up a large period of time for me to, focus on something that I was really interested in.
That's great. That's one of the hardest things I think about being a mom, working in a corporation, working long hours.
Right.
And then your kids are in a million activities and there's things going on. That was one of the things that prompted me to become an entrepreneur, because I was like, I can't miss out. And it's not like you can tell your boss, oh, the jogathon's today at noon, and then I've got to go to soccer and all these things. So that's great that you had that time at home.
For sure.
Kind of that perspective. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to jump back into the workforce, but it's on your time.
It's on my time, right. And I think that, you have to find the right fit to do that. But when you do, it's fantastic.
So what's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Gosh, I think so many things. One is every day is a different day. We do, in our company is a global AI marketing automation company, and we have really perfected so many things that are real routine, if you will. We have a proprietary process and methodology. But having said that, every day is still a little bit different. And love it, cross paths with you one day, with different clients, with service providers, people that work for us and with us, and just the projects are different. I love it being different, all in the same space, but a little bit different, and always growing and something new in that space for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, you talked a little bit about your business partner, Brian.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you guys get connected? Because he has like an IT background.
He does. Brian Wilkes, he has a degree he has a gazillion degrees. He has a degree from Harvard, from Stanford. His latest one was a master's in IT with a digital focus. And we connected through a mutual friend, kind of like how we're getting connected today. A friend of his, good friend of his, was a CFO of a company, and I was doing helping with some consulting on one of his clients. And we met, hit it off, and then he introduced me to Brian, and we really just hit it off from the get-go.
That's great.
Right from the get-go.
I haven't met him yet. I've heard he's dynamic, tons of energy. And just
he is amazing. Our company is our main company is Freeform agency. He's definitely the free, and I'm definitely the form for sure.
That's great. Is that kind of where the name?
It is.
Oh,
it is very.
That.
It explains it. I can't say enough great things about him as a business partner and a person. But yeah, it's fun to work with him and around him for sure.
That's great. So your background, finance, accounting.
Yeah.
And now you have a digital marketing automation company.
Right.
So let's talk about that, because if I went from marketing to an accounting,
nobody wants to do that.
Well, I could. It would be ugly. It wouldn't be happening. So.
Well,
talk
for me,
it's
really, and when I met Brian, we started kind of working on a few things, and then kind of joined forces in a partnership. And math, in marketing automation, in AI, we've been using AI for years. We were formed in 2013, and just that set of algorithms, setting up rules, and so forth. There's so much math with that. Aside from, I think, just the math and the financials and treasury function of running a business, in our actual business, it's patterns and rules and math and logic. And so it really goes hand in hand. The part of the marketing automation that is really set for scale and that is a repeatable process is based on, coding and math and those kinds of things. So it really does go, it really goes hand in hand. I always say, I think of everything as a number, because I'm a real nerdy number person.
But great.
But it really, it really lends itself to that.
Well, showing ROI is one of the most important things in marketing.
Right.
That's what I always tell my clients. If you're putting money in, you better get back that and then some.
Right.
Or why are you doing it?
Right.
So to be able to show that and make it be an obvious ROI is
it's
a game changer.
It's the most important thing, and I think that in our business we always do 4 things, and one of the things that we do is measure, obviously. So we have a process where we target, architect, deploy, and measure. And the measure piece, like you say, is the ROI. It's the return on investment. You're in our space, many people are ROAS, the return on ad spend. But if you don't measure it and you don't connect it, people are doing a bunch of different things and they can't point to what is providing that return, or if it is even providing a return that you're willing to invest in. Am I spending a bunch of time and energy and effort and I'm getting a really low ROI, or am I getting an ROI that's meaningful to my company?
I speak to clients every day that are doing, they've been doing traditional media forever. I actually have a client here locally was spending $100,000 a month,
right,
on television.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, what about the return? What kind of return are you seeing? Right. And they're looking at me like, what are you talking about?
And why are you asking me that?
There's no way to track.
Right.
Right. And so digital is so important to be able to say, my dollars are going here. I know exactly who's clicking, who's coming through, who's converting, what that conversion rate is, and all of that is so important.
Right.
So,
it is. And I think with in our partnership, and particularly with Brian, when you look at all of that, there's so many components that go into that too, like not just those metrics, but then the resource cost and the time. And so if you do really a comprehensive, calculation of return on ad spend, then you can really see what every dollar that's going in and every dollar that's coming out. So
that's great. I hadn't even thought about that, putting the time resources, because you've got employees working on it for hours and hours.
And maybe they're subscribing to different platforms and different things that they're using to do that kind of thing. So, it's the calculation can get, even though it seems pretty simple, you got to really get all the inputs in there. So I do think that's super important.
So you guys were cutting edge. We're talking 2013. Nobody was talking about AI. I mean, that's actually, or is just becoming on the forefront. Now, today, it's like everybody.
Everything. If you don't
Right.
say you have AI and something that you're doing, people are like, why not? Why aren't you using it? So yeah, I definitely have to give full credit to that, to Brian, his training, and just being on the forefront of knowing that the automation is where it is from an efficiency and an effectiveness standpoint. Also making sure that you're not duplicating spend, you're leveraging results within and so forth. And, AI extends to so many things, but at the simplest form, it's just really a set of algorithms, right, that are setting rules and so forth. And so, you can implement that in so many ways. I think now it's interesting, AI can be used for so many things, but it still has to be applied correctly, right? And in the right way and so forth to really get the benefit.
Let's talk about Profithack.
Yeah.
Because you guys created your own software,
Right.
which is a lot of what you're talking about with this automation. So tell me about that. What does Profithack do for companies?
Yeah. I love talking about Profithack because for me, it makes so much sense I think of it as what QuickBooks, because everyone knows QuickBooks, whether you like accounting or not, Quicken or QuickBooks or some variation of that, it's what QuickBooks did for accounting is what this does in the marketing space.
That's huge.
And QuickBooks, if you think about it, just solved a problem. Like everyone needs to know, started with Quicken, what their personal financials are, or if you're running a company, starting a company, if you have a side hustle, if it's your real business, you need your accounting, in order. And most people, I would say, don't like to do their accounting, say they aren't good with numbers, don't like the numbers. There's a way to enter your numbers, and it will generate a statement that either is, depending on your level, totally accurate, or it's all in one place such that it can be adjusted easy. You can provide it to your tax accountant to do your tax return and so forth. So it solved a complicated problem whereby you had to hire a lot of personnel, maybe an outside accounting outfit, use different platforms to do that. It solved that problem. That's what Profithack does, is it solves the problem of getting your message out there to the people that need to see it, that are going to follow up in a call to action or some kind of follow-up in the most efficient and effective way. In Profithack, we do 4 things, and we always keep it to 4 things. We target the right audience, architect the right content, deploy it on the right platform, and then measure it. And all those are connected, So it's a closed loop, turnkey process. We developed the platform and the methodology to do that.
So just so I can understand, would you use Profithack with your Facebook ad campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
So walk me through that.
For sure. Yeah. So if we, I'll use an example of a client that we have that is, looking to increase their sales or services and so forth, is we are looking at the architecture of all of their digital parts, and we are employing Profithack to architect the right content, to first of all, target the right audience. Who is the audience? And that is, we all look at who we think the audience is, and we might say that anecdotally or just as it relates to us, or maybe a certain segment of customers that I have or want to get and so forth. But if you really set that up right and you used enhanced targeting and some of those things, you can really hone in on the target audience. And those are people that are actually buying your services or in the market or have the wherewithal or the interest. So you want to target the right audience. Then we architect the right content, which is, what do they need to see? What message resonates with them to give them useful, helpful information? As users, we want to educate ourselves, right, before we're following up on things. We want to know something about the product or service or the brand or how it's provided before we're jumping into something. And then we're putting it on the platform like Facebook and that you mentioned, maybe the platform of where those targeted users are. Every user has a different journey, right? And they are spending a lot of time on digital parts. My go-to is, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google is what I say when I'm talking about examples, YouTube, Instagram. But there's 2,000 platforms out there, right? So you need to be on the right platform and provide the user a journey where they're going to, they're going to see it 7 to 9 times on different platforms before they follow through. And then we take all that and we measure it so you can see, like you said, if we spend X dollars on this turnkey process, then what is my return for that? And there's a gazillion metrics that you're looking at, of course, clicks and conversions and, all those metrics that are going to there, your frequency rate, all those things that are important to look at.
So is this a subscription?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Based.
It is kind of a subscription based. I guess I should answer it that way, in that we don't have any contracts. And the reason we don't is we kind of went through that, like, do you want to do it for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? And you think about that, if you're really employing an enterprise level digital campaign, you probably need 90 days to see, anomalies and different things like that. But what we found is that we measure everything, and we're always adjusting. We're very agile. We're looking at the data and making changes, such that when clients come on and use us, we have a very good history of they don't stop using it because it's producing those results. And if it's not producing the results and there's tweaks that need to be made that either can't be made or the client doesn't want to make those, then we don't, that's not spending good money for anyone. And so we don't want to take money and not produce a good ROAS. So it is a monthly, you sign up, it's turnkey. And it's just a matter of minutes and the information that you provide, and then it's a monthly service.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that you say, it's month to month, because we've always been month to month.
Oh, you have? Okay,
No agencies are month to month.
They're not.
Right.
It's this retainer and this long term, and then you're held hostage.
Right.
But I find that and people even today will still say, like, I can't believe you don't have contracts. People that either use our services or that don't, but in this space, and I think with everything, is nobody's happy if you're not getting the results or able to make the changes to get the results. That just doesn't make sense for anyone.
Right.
As companies grow, we all grow. As our customers grow, we all grow. So that's just always been our theory on that.
And if it's working, they're not going to go anywhere.
That's right.
That's what I always say. It's not a risk, right? Try it out. It's month to month, because if it's working, why would you leave?
Right. And we're all looking at the metrics, right? I think that customers and as service providers, we sometimes have to educate everyone on what the metrics are and what they mean, and how we should be viewing those or how we should be increasing those. But we are all looking at the same black and white data there. Right. In Profithack, there's a real-time dashboard that accumulates all that information. So like you say, it's not a surprise, what you're getting or versus what you're not, or what changes need to be made.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, you have some amazing clients. And so I know I read Duck Dynasty. Yeah. You've got Odell Beckham Jr. Right. You've worked with ESPN. Yeah. Oklahoma State football, all these really great clients. So tell me about how do you get a client? How do you get Odell Beckham to give you a call?
Yeah, do you know what? That's interesting and that really came through a connection from Brian. But it's all about, if you think of Profithack and marketing automation and so forth, it's getting the message out in front of the right people at the right time in the right way, right? And using that in a really efficient and effective way. So we get referred to clients all the time. We've done a lot, like you say, in the sports arena, in the entertainment arena. Our process is always the same. It's always those 4 things. It's the same but different, if you will. We always stay really true to those 4 things. I think in our company with people that work for us, we always say there's a million things you can do in this, global AI and marketing automation space. There's only a few things you should do to generate that return. And so we get referred to clients all the time. I will say OSU was a great client. We did a 3-year contract with them and got, huge results. We did their first sellout season of season tickets ever, which obviously, as you know, has a lifetime value because people keep those season tickets.
I'm huge.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we got you. You're in. You were before that, I know, but she's in. So that that's been fun. But I think our other clients that are just as exciting, which is crazy. We do a lot of work for companies that are part of a private equity portfolio. And the reason is because, our process will work for one company and they'll extend it across their portfolio companies. So one of our clients that it's probably been really exciting for me is a Brightview. It's a public, billion-dollar commercial landscaping company headquartered out of California. We started with them. Their ROAS was 1 to 2, and we ended there with a ROAS of 10 plus. And so just to do all the tweaks in it, it's a national company and so forth, doing the same kinds of things that we would do for work with Dynasty, or some things we've done with Garth Brooks, or different things. Same kind of thing, but in a different arena, in a different industry.
So ROAS, return on ad spend, that's one of the number one things that people, if they're not looking, if they don't know, that's what they need to be looking for in their marketing.
Right.
That's all that matters.
That's really,
Right.
I mean, starting there and saying, okay, is this the time, effort, energy, and I'm spending this money, am I going to get the right return? And then I think you can even get more complicated from there of, if I'm getting a good ROAS, are there other things that I'm doing out there that I need to reappropriate? Do I need to add this on, or is it really not an extra expense? Is there just something I need to reappropriate? I think in marketing automation, it's a component. It's not a, we've always been very straightforward about, it's a component of all of your advertising, and in part of your whole architecture. So it doesn't fully replace other things. It works alongside, and you just want to make sure that you're not duplicating. And when they work together, you're leveraging those results to get better overall results.
It sounds brilliant, and I'm ready for my demo because this really is a game changer. So I know you guys were named one of the fastest growing companies by Inc. magazine,
right?
And I can see why.
Well, thanks.
That's absolutely incredible.
A very, very fun. I love it, and it's been a very fun ride, and we're still, we're just getting, it. Still moving and growing.
Started.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun.
Well, that's just amazing. So, if you think about where your business was, and that was 2013.
Right.
Now technology is catching up, but you guys are still, pushing forward. And I think that's one of the things that just being innovative and adding new things is so important.
Right. It's streamlining. There's always improvements and different things. And I think that's one thing about being in your own company, is you have the ability to come across so many different people in so many different industries, walks of life, skill sets, and that's what keeps our company. We're always adjusting and enhancing what we have based on new things that are in the market, and also new people that are having different experiences that we're looking to solve that particular problem, or to apply Profithack or a certain AI component or a digital build that we have to a little bit different concept or a little bit different usage,
The beautiful thing about digital marketing is you can have a variety of clients, right? I'll have people say, well, you haven't worked in this industry.
Right.
It doesn't matter the industry.
Yes.
It's the same process that I'm going to do. It's a different message. Right. It's a different platform.
Right.
But it's the same process.
Exactly.
And that's what you're saying.
Totally.
Any industry, it would work.
It worked. If we look at our client base, we've done work for, and we do work for manufacturing, oil and gas, financial services, banks, a lot of banks, collegiate sports, NFL, entertainers, not-for-profits. We've done work for a large mega church in a certain area of their business. So it extends across law it extends across all. If you're trying to get your message or your product out there to the right people at the right time in the right way, such that you can create the best return on investment, this applies. And that just applies to, all businesses.
And the great thing about digital too is your clients could be in Italy and Fiji and
for
right.
For sure.
So what is the percentage of clients locally versus nationally?
You know what? That's a good question, Deidre. We have. Gosh, that's a good question. I haven't looked at that metric in a long time, but I would say most of our clients are outside of Tulsa. Some of the most fun clients are in, or most fun places, I guess, or, Switzerland and those kinds of things. But, New York on the coast and so forth, but nationally, and a lot of companies that have presence throughout, have plants or locations throughout. So most of the companies are outside of Tulsa. That, having said that, though, I would really have to look at that because we have so many clients in Tulsa too. But
no, that's great.
Right,
and you're a numbers person, so I threw you. You're like, wait, that's going to be like 23.5%.
Right. I'm going to look that up. No.
And I'm not. So I'm just like in general.
Yeah. A lot of clients that are regional or national for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk 10 District.
Okay,
Because
that's fun. Let's
you
do it.
moved your headquarters
We did.
to Jenks.
We did.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
And so tell me, I live in that area, so I'm always over there, and I'm just fascinated with the buzz going around right now about Jenks.
Oh, good.
Everybody's
Good.
talking about Jenks
Right.
and Lululemon's coming down
Right.
there, and all this great stuff. So tell me, what made you guys like get into developing the 10 District?
You know what? It has been so fun. So Brian, my business partner, lives in Jenks, and we have done a lot of work for Jenks public schools over the years, and a lot of donation and pro bono work and so forth that we wanted to do, because we're both Brian and myself, our families are big advocates of education and certainly public schools, all schools in Tulsa and Oklahoma, but a lot on the public schools. We got involved doing work with Jenks. The foundation have done some good work there and created some good ROI for them. And when we were spending time in Jenks, and really Brian kind of had the thought of, Jenks Main Street downtown, it's right there. And you walk to the campus. I just delivered something to a teacher today that had left something at our office. I walked over there. It's just right there. It's such an amazing campus, and Jenks is arguably, the best or one of the best school districts in Tulsa, certainly, and Oklahoma. The street needs to be, developed and provide work, lifestyle, ROI for the city. And when we were up and down Jenks, Brian said, "Hey, I think we can do something here. We can use our same methodology, our same product, if you will, of just connecting things and to develop a district. The science of a district is that once you have a district like Cherry Street, the Rose District, Brookside, it creates an increased value of that area, and it encourages businesses for development. If you look at Jenks, they have so many wonderful, residential and commercial companies. They have this great student body at all of their campuses, and they have a good demographic, and they just don't have that many places to spend their money, if you will.
Exactly right.
And the money, the ROI for the city is sales tax. And so if you can keep those buildings up. We wanted to, restore the old buildings, have a shout out, obviously, to the history and keep that history there, but then also bring in and entice, new businesses to provide services on Main Street and provide that balance so that the city can make improvements and continue to grow. Jenks is growing. People want to go to school in Jenks, and they need to have that infrastructure in place to be able to support that. Without sales tax, police, fire, roads, certain things with the school and so forth are not, cannot grow. And so we just wanted to provide that and do that. So that's really how we got involved. And definitely, Brian has been the advocate and thinking that all out, and then we jumped in and started working on it.
It's so exciting driving down Main Street now, because there's life.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you see buildings going up, there's construction, there's all kinds of things,
There are great things happening. We have a, we obviously accumulated the data and worked from a data perspective to know about the development and how to do that. And when you look at that, there's, 600 million plus that's in development just in that area now. And that's been, over the past 18 months or so forth. So like you say, it is exciting to drive down the street and I think what really excites me is to see those old buildings that are being rehabbed, and they're still keeping that same architecture and just getting them in good working order. Because I think that's great to merge the new with the old. And I think, that's really what the 10 District stands for and why it was formed. So I think it's great.
So 5 years down the road, what is your vision for Jenks and the 10 District?
Yeah. You know what? I probably have to give a shout out to the Rose District. I think, I have to say I'm a native Tulsan, and I haven't spent that much time in Broken Arrow, but I have now. And I think that they've done a great job. They aesthetically and just everything that they offer for the residents of not only the residents, of Broken Arrow, but people from Tulsa, Jenks, they're going to the Rose District. They have so much to offer. I think that's definitely in the vision for 5 years, and totally attainable. And I think also to have things that, we get a lot of questions about, what about the parking? What about the streets and so forth? Those are all things that Jenks is working on and accommodating those kinds of things to make changes. And so I think it would be to really have that in great order and provide a destination for people to go, live, work, spend their money in Jenks, whether it's driving or walking, a very walkable street too, that's in the works.
Oh, well, I love you guys are doing that. It's just amazing and exciting being a Jenks resident, you know, seeing it all kind of come to life.
Thanks.
So.
I love it. I live in Midtown, but I love driving to Jenks. I was saying earlier, I just drive through the Gathering Place down Riverside. It's so easy to get to go over the bridge. And I love the Main Street feel. And I can't say enough about the existing businesses that are there and that have been there for so long, and what they're doing and improvements they're making. I mean, it's just a great community. Yeah. And there's a lot of exciting things happening.
I love that. So take me back to 2013.
Yeah.
You're launching Freeform, right? You're getting back into the workforce, but your kids are little.
Right.
So our kids are similar ages.
Right.
So how did you balance work, family life? Because I know that's always one of those things as an entrepreneur. When you're at work, you feel like your kids need you, and you feel guilty you're not with your kids. And then when you're with your kids, oh gosh, something at work is probably suffering. Right. So how did you really kind of balance work, family life?
You know what, for me, when I think of that question, and people at various times have asked me that, it really was never it was a balance, but it wasn't. And the reason was, when I think about that, is that, my kids, I timed it for when, my kids were in school, and they were in school for a longer day, and then we had sports after. But I really have to give credit again to my business partner. That's important to him. And it is working, but never feel like you're working. Mm-hmm. So for me, I never feel like I am working. And I'm passionate about what I do. And that's how we've always treated it. So there's never been a case where you can't go here, you can't do this. It's, we were doing what I would say is remote work before, way before COVID, if you will. We have, 50 plus people that work for us. A lot of them in Tulsa, a lot of them are not. And most people working remotely, or where they are, or how they want to work. And we've done that forever. So that's very conducive. That was very conducive to going back in the workforce, because I wasn't going day to day.
8 to 5.
8 to 5.
Clocking in, yeah.
And a lot of our work is done, on the phone or fun meetings or different things like that. So it really wasn't, you're kind of scheduling those when it works around you. And then, my, for sure, I have 2 boys, and my husband, both super supportive of that. And they've been, they think it's cool, the things that we get to work on and do. And so, it's fun for them. And I don't think that my family ever thought, oh, she's at work and can't, and can't do this. So it was something that it just worked out that way. That would be important to me to do. And I think that's really important to, when you do that, to make sure that you can have that kind of arrangement.
Yes, definitely. So if there's someone out there that is thinking about, leaving corporate America and going to do their own thing, what would be your number one piece of advice for that entrepreneur, that is just itching to get out there?
You know what? I think my number one piece of advice would be, you have to be passionate about the product or what you're doing. Not only that you think like, oh, I think this could be a good business return, if you will, or this might be financially, but just you're passionate about the area that you're moving into, or the services that you're going to provide, or whatever you're going to do. Because for myself, and certainly for everybody else that works, most people that work with Freeform, is they're very interested in the if it's somebody that's working on the programmatic side in that particular piece, or we have, award-winning copywriter and graphic designers. And so it's their passion. It's what they do. They're very, very good at it. And I would say that's my number one piece of advice, is make the change to go to something that you really want to do. And I think it can be a combination of things. Like, I really like it because it's a great schedule, and I'm working in an area that I want to work around. But I say also, don't discount who you're getting to work with to do that. Because if you're working in and around somebody, if you're going by yourself or with a partner or a group of partners, you're with them and you're ideating and you're changing things and doing things. That's the nature of the business, right? So you want to be, of being an entrepreneur, is you're making real-time decisions, is don't discount making sure you're working with somebody that you're kind of working towards a common goal, I would say, but that you also enjoy being around each other and, have the same vision. So I think that's important.
Yeah. And I love what you said, when you don't feel like it's been work.
At all.
When you go to work, it doesn't feel like work because you love what you're doing. You're innovating
right.
And that's the key. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship.
It is such the beauty of it is you are never feel like working. It makes the word work just totally different. Totally different for sure.
That's so true. Okay, so what's next? What's next for Freeform? What's next for Shea Roach? Gosh. What would you say is on the horizon for you?
Well, I would say, we have done so many fun, great things, but we're still moving. I think we always take a minute at the end of the year to be like, gosh, wow, this was, crazy and all this great stuff. And I would say there's a lot. I would say there's a lot we look to do a lot more in Jenks, and we have some things that we're, working on. We're looking at collaborating with all kinds of different people and different groups in Jenks and the 10. And so that's definitely something that's on the horizon. I think with a lot of our marketing automation, some different things that we're working on there with regards to enhancements either in Profithack or alongside Profithack, those are happening too. And just continuing that global growth, if you will. It's more of the same, but totally different, if you will,
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we're excited to continue moving on and moving up.
Well, I'm excited to see how it all unfolds.
Thank you.
So you are an inspiration to so many, and I'm so happy that I got to sit and talk to you today and learn more about. Well, I learned way more than I even knew about you.
I hope so. I was kind of dragging on there, but I hope. I enjoyed talking to you as well, and I think it's so great that we connect, and I'm looking forward to connecting more with you.
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Well, thank you for being on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us for the Do It My Way podcast. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Do It My Way podcast. If you like this episode, please remember to share with your friends and make sure to let me know who you'd like me to interview next. We'll see you next time.